Assemblies of God Church, Okpu 2, Abia State, cancelled the wedding after the bride refused to spend the night at the host pastor's residence, an act required to conduct a mandatory blood pregnancy test hours before the ceremony. Church officials maintained the practice is a long-standing policy meant to uphold moral and doctrinal standards. They said the bride's refusal to stay overnight violated church tradition, leaving no option but to halt the ceremony. Guests had already arrived at the venue when the announcement was made, drawing mixed reactions. While some supported the church's strict enforcement of its rules, others criticized it as an outdated and insensitive to individual rights. The incident has since fueled further debate about how far religious institutions should go in regulating personal choices, especially in intimate matters such as marriage. Many see it as a clash between cultural heritage and modern values. As of the time of filing this report, neither the bride nor her family has issued an official statement. The groom's response is also yet to be made public, leaving room for speculation over whether the couple will seek to reschedule or move on. Assemblies of God Church has also not released any further comment beyond confirming that the cancellation was based on established premarital requirements. The story continues to trend on social media, dividing opinion among Nigerians over faith, control, and marital rights. What are your thoughts on this report?
Hello. The story is really all-encompassing. Why I say this is that looking at, most of the time we've turned Christianity not as the way it ought to be.
Okay.
Christianity is now based on, like what they use, tradition, doctrine. Christianity should be debunked of such. There should be a moral standing. The Bible should be the standard of Christianity.
Right.
Now, okay, if this pastor was to be in that the first miracle Jesus Christ did, that he turned water into wine in that wedding, that means he wouldn't have. He would have hitted on the couples that why would they bring insufficient wine to a wedding gathering? It's appalling. Now, these are the things that we should know. Is really, let's look at it from a holistic perspective. Is it a must that the bride should sleep in the parsonage? No. For crying out. Now, the church is even incurring more loss and more costs. If anything happens to her there, it's on the church. So there's some measures you don't put. The part of the church is if you have to conduct tests to see if maybe if they're pregnant or something.
Why does the church need to conduct a test to know if an adult has had coitus and is pregnant? Why is that a necessary requirement? When in the Bible was that stated as a requirement for marriage?
I don't. Now that's on that part. I see most churches indulging in that. They will take you to a hospital and check. And most of the times, these persons that even bring these couples to go for checkup, most of them joined this faith half-baked. They did not marry in that same faith, in that same doctrine, in that same church. They did not. Some of them just joined. Maybe they met their wives maybe in a brothel and all that, and they came together. They started having children, and maybe according to them, maybe God called them and all the rest, and they came to the church scene and they start giving laws because I see them as laws and norms and values in church, and making it ungovernable for the youth. Okay, now what will be their gain? What is the gain? What is the end for that? Because she refused to sleep in church. It is appalling. It's fermented. It's I don't want to use the word unconstitutional. It is really die-hearted. These are things that should not be perpetrated. That where in the Western world is this happening? That you place. If we were to copy Christianity, we should copy it verbatim. We should copy it the way it is.
All right.
The way it is, and that is how it is. And not we are doing it. One thing about in this part of the country where we come from, in this part of the world, we don't emulate everything. We emulate and we pirate it and all this. So what is there? You are Jesus Christ did not do this. You discuss Christianity. That means we should follow the standard of Christ.
Right.
Now, in the standard of Christ, even at the adulterous woman that came, Jesus, even when they were hitting her to stone her to death, they asked him. He said no. He asked them a question. He said, "Any of you who have not sinned should first of all cast the stone on her." And he bent down and he was writing. When he raised his head up, he did not say any of them. They've all vanished. And he asked her. He said, "Have they?" No, this was a platform. If these pastors were to be in that, they would even, if many women come, they would just take a machete and kill them. No, they should follow Christ. Christ is our standard.
Right.
The Bible is our standard.
Right.
So for you to say this person must sleep, it is uncalled for.
I want to gather your thoughts on one other part of this report. Now, you are a Christian. You've been quoting the scriptures. I personally, I was born into the Christian fold. I'm a Christian. But I want to gather your thoughts as regard what exactly is the core importance of marrying in church? Why is it a necessity? Right? Because if you want to prove to society, for example, that you're married, the requirement from you will either be, did you marry customarily or did you marry legally? There are barely questions that centered around, did you marry in church? Or did a pastor join you? What then is the core? Why are people chasing after this court marriage as an ingredient to solidify their union?
Now, mainly the best and the number one marriage that is being ordained by God is that which is the traditional marriage, that which the father and the mother hands you over. The Bible says, for the man and woman will leave their father's house. And what? They will cleave to what? A new union. It is in the Bible. The Bible not said that they will leave their houses and go to the church.
So why is that a thing?
Now listen. Okay. To even honor, I see church wedding as a reception, as a ceremonial adventure, because even in that church wedding they will also affirm that if the parents have done the needful. So to me. Yes, it's good.
So now you said that before the consideration of marrying in church, they are usually asked if the dowry has been paid and if the family is aware. Now, if you are a parent, let me say you are a parent just now, and you have collected the dowry for your daughter, now, and they decide they still want to go to church, what right does the church now have to request a pregnancy test and the wife your daughter sleeping over in church on the day of the wedding?
That is the part I said it's an aberration. It's an aberration of the Christendom. They don't have any rights. Now, okay, if as the sole owner, the father and the mother, they've given their mandate, and you are saying it shouldn't hold. That's why there was this story that happened. That the church refused. The groom and the bride, they called everybody. They took them. They turned the reception hall to a church. Next thing they hired a pulpit and they dropped it there. Before you know, they called them a very vibrant pastor. He came, he joined them. Case closed. I think maybe most of them they are not exposed. If I'm doing that shoe. You so immediately I put in course. We'll do the joining. So there's some things that should be noted. If these couples have done, and it's not even in the place of the church to peruse their privacy. Yes, this is called you're perusing. You're infringing on their rights. It is not in your place. Your place is just to do the joining, and maybe the recession continues. You are not to look into their inner lives. To know if no, how's that your business? Is that the mandate of Christ? Is that the doctrine? Does that show Christ light? Like we are all Christ like for crying out loud. There are some things. Okay. The same pastor and his council, if that was to be their daughter. Yes, if that was to be the daughter, would they say because the daughter did not? And funny enough, most of these pastors, their children are worst. I'm not against them, but I'm telling you, we should be factual. It is called Society Watch. So we should be factual in what we're saying. Now, 70%, 70% of these pastors, their children, most of them are wayward. Yes, they are. So because most of the time they put an eye outside without looking at what is within them, and they say charity begins at home.
Right.
So you start inward, and you put to play.
So are you saying that the church is losing track of what it should focus on?
Yes. No, not if you say they are losing. Let me say, to a larger percentage, they've lost track. Not they're losing. They're losing means maybe they may one day retrieve the stuff. No, they've lost. A larger percentage have lost track of what they should focus on. I'm still maintaining that the Bible should be the standard of Christianity. So whatever that is not from Genesis to Revelation, leave it.